Okay, so last of our fat-soluble vitamins will be vitamin K. And vitamin K, a little bit unique. One, because of its naming. Even though it's one of the earlier vitamins we discovered, it was given the name K. A little history. Heinrich Dahm, who's a Danish scientist who discovered vitamin K, although he didn't know it was vitamin K. He discovered that in chickens he was working with that there was an issue with hemorrhaging, and he discovered that part of their diet was missing uh, cholesterol, which also seemed to have vitamin K in it. Again, he'd know what it was. Received a Nobel Prize for that back in the 40s. So vitamin K actually comes from the German coagulation because his research was in German. Coagulation in German begins with a K, so vitamin K. Even though it was discovered much earlier than some of the vitamins that were named with E and some of the B vitamins as well. So vitamin K, because of that, easy way to think of this is okay. Function, yeah, has a role in blood coagulation. More specifically, vitamin K, there are some factors involved in blood clotting, which you may have learned in bio and A&P. And vitamin K has a key role as a cofactor in some of these processes. Um, Vitamin K also, however, as we now know more in the later 20th century, 21st century, vitamin K also seems to have a role in the binding of calcium and to a secondary extent, bone mineralization. Now, historically, we haven't tied vitamin K really to that. However, there is some research, in fact, even in the last 10 years, that diets deficient in vitamin K, we do seem to see increased incidences of osteoporosis, which is breaking down of bone that leads to fracture of bone. And so vitamin K may play a role in that. Now, the original name for vitamin K is phylloquinone. You don't have to memorize that. Good luck if you can spell it. However, it might help you kind of know what foods it's in. Um, phyllo, if you kind of think of that, kind of sounds similar, kind of pH photosynthesis. Well, that happens in plants, right? Well, vitamin K almost exclusively found in plants. So that's like three for the vegans. Go you. That's like a shutout so far. So vitamin K, a lot of green leafy vegetables, often vegetables that we're not a huge fan of. Cabbage, although I like coleslaw. Oh, that's cabbage and a lot of other bad stuff. Cabbage, turnips, Brussels sprouts, parsley, which looks great on the side, but not actually as a meal. A lot of green, leafy. Also, we could throw in there peppers and squash as well. That are going to be really high in vitamin K. Kale as well. Again, all these fat soluble. So when we talk about vitamin K, although deficiencies and toxicities are fairly rare in the US, when we do see issues with blood clotting, often a deficiency in vitamin K could be the cause. And so that is something don't want to say it's a common disorder. However, if blood clotting exists, vitamin K is often at least something that will be looked at as a potential source of that issue. When it comes to toxicities, really not common. Um, uh, even for fat soluble vitamin, not something we really see nowadays. And again, just like we've talked about with other fat soluble vitamins, just like with A and D especially, vitamin K is fortified in our diet. And so because of that, not common to see issues with a lot of these, especially these fat soluble vitamins. When we get to the water soluble ones, B1, B2, thiamine, niacin, we will start to see some issues with these, but not so much here in our fat soluble vitamins. Okay, so again, vitamin K, when you think of K, blood clotting, big issue there. Um, Also know what foods it's in. K, if this helps, kale, green leafy vegetables. If you don't like kale, let's try to remember it anyway. And not a lot of real issues here with deficiencies or toxicities. Okay, that's it for vitamin K.